Hello and welcome back to my channel. Listen, I know it's been a hot minute since I filmed a video, and I don't know, maybe I'll speak about this in another video, but I did not start 2022 feeling like I had goals, motivation, anything like that. I was literally just trying to survive January and get through it, and I feel now we're sort of like into February, you know, the days are starting to get lighter, and yeah, I just haven't felt motivated in the slightest, and I've definitely not wanted to pick up the camera. I've been pretty absent from Instagram as well, and I would love to talk about this in another video and what's been going on, but today's video I am just going to be answering some of your questions that I put on Instagram. I can't remember how long ago, all about PCOS and endometriosis, and I basically collected them all. Some of them were kind of similar, so I grouped them together to make a question, and I'm just going to answer those today. And again, this setup isn't amazing. I think my camera's a little bit wonky. Somebody's also having building work done over there, so you can probably hear some drilling. But I'm back, I'm trying my best, and hopefully you'll find this video useful. So let's not waste any time. I've got the questions and I'm going to answer them. Okay, the first question, and this is probably one of the most commonly asked questions I get, is how did you know you had PCOS? And I'll be honest, I didn't know. It was a surprise to me too. So I came off the pill and, you know, my period didn't return. I got told that was normal. I then got told that I had hypothalamic amenorrhea, and you'll see from like my earlier YouTube videos that it was all about getting my period back, thinking that I had HA. And I went back to the doctors and I was like, look, my period's come back, then it's gone, and I've got some pain. And I asked them if they'd do some blood work and send me for a scan, which they did. And I was just like textbook typical PCOS. So I had high androgens, so they're like your male hormones like testosterone, and also my ovaries were polycystic, which means that I had lots of follicles where basically my ovaries weren't able to release an egg. My cat is trying to get in. Once. So yeah, I didn't actually know I had PCOS. That never even literally entered my mind. And when I got that phone call to tell me I had PCOS, I was really shocked. But yeah, if you're somebody who suspects that you think you might have PCOS, go to your doctor, ask them to do some blood work, send you for a scan, and they should really be able to tell from those two things whether you've got PCOS or not. There are also loads of other symptoms of PCOS, like weight gain, like facial hair, hair loss, etc. So it's just a case of piecing those things together, taking that evidence to your doctor and asking them to investigate. Okay, question number 2. What were your main I'm trying to film a video. Question number 2, what were your main endo symptoms? This is really difficult. I would say my one main symptom was painful sex. That was the one thing that I had for a really, really long time without knowing that it was endometriosis. Only when I came off the contraceptive pill and my hormones could sort of do their own thing did I start to get more symptoms, and then it sort of progressed onto really bad pelvic pain. I didn't have heavy periods like sometimes you get with endo, and I do wonder if that's something to do with maybe me also having PCOS. And yeah, I then progressed into rectal pain, and that was because the endometriosis was on my bowel, on my colon. So I think with endometriosis it looks different for everybody, but for me it was mostly pain, unfortunately, and that's why endo can be so difficult to diagnose. But if you have any kind of pain like during sex, when emptying your bowels, if you have like really heavy clotty periods, any kind of like bad pelvic pain, then I would definitely go and have a conversation with your doctor to see whether it could possibly be endo symptoms. But I always get asked that, and they're my main symptoms. And again, like PCOS, there's so many more symptoms. Again, if you've got any of them, make a list, take them to your GP, and hopefully they will do some more investigating. The next question again was about endometriosis, and it was about my laparoscopy. So if you don't know, I had a laparoscopy in November of 2021. It was basically to confirm that I had endometriosis, but they'd already seen that on an MRI, so we knew it was there, and to get rid of it. So they call it an excision of endometriosis. And I believe I had quite a lot of endometriosis, but it was very superficial on the surface, so it was classed as stage 1, which I was really surprised by, but there was a lot to get rid of. And was the surgery painful? Now again, this probably varies across different people. I'm gonna say it honestly wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I mentally prepared myself for being completely bedridden, not being able to move for a very long time, and it being really, really painful. But it really wasn't as bad. I couldn't get up and move by myself. I did need a lot of help, and there was definitely a lot of things going on in there, a lot of pulling, a lot of twinging, like sharp pains, but I wasn't like in excruciating pain, which I expected. The doctors gave me codeine when I left the hospital. I took it the first night because I didn't really know what to expect. I thought like maybe painkillers and stuff was going to wear off, but I honestly didn't take it again, and I was able to manage it with paracetamol. But my core was useless. I couldn't move very much. If I walked too fast, then the pain would kick in, and that sort of like underlying pain, pulling, that kind of thing, even though it wasn't terrible, it has stayed with me for a very, very long time. So I know there's a lot of healing going on in the inside. So I would say no, the actual surgery, it wasn't too painful, but it did take me a long time to recover. I had 4 weeks off work, which I definitely needed because the fatigue as well is unreal, and I did have to ease back into normal life a lot slower than I anticipated. So even though it wasn't excruciating, my body definitely couldn't do what it could do before surgery, and only now in February do I feel like I'm starting to get back to really my normal self. So if you've got surgery pending, please don't worry, the doctors will look after you. If you are in pain, you get painkillers, and just make sure you give yourself some time to heal. Question number 4, I get asked this again quite often: does metformin work? And I'm gonna say metformin works for me. Like, I take it, and I take it twice a day, and I've never looked back. I went from having a 200-day cycle. I changed my diet when I found out I was insulin resistant and got my first period back naturally. And then because I knew that was the issue and I wanted to get pregnant, I decided to just take the metformin, and I now have a 35-day cycle. I know that a lot of people struggle with metformin, and I know a lot of people have like gastro issues with metformin and they can't take it, but for me, it has been like life-changing. I ovulate every month, I have a cycle every month, and yeah, it really has worked. So please don't read stuff about people saying that it gave them really bad stomach and things like that and think, I'm not going to try it. If it's been offered by your doctor, give it a go, because I have honestly not looked back, and I take it every day and it has really helped me. It is just completely dependent person to person. So if you're offered it, take it, because a lot of women want to try it and the doctors aren't offering it. So give it a go. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Try changing your diet so you are sort of eating to support your insulin resistance, and you might get a period back naturally like I did as well. This was more of a deeper question. Did this situation with Pcos and endometriosis affect your mental health? 100%. Like, there is no denying it. I have always been quite like an outgoing, bubbly person, and don't get me wrong, I am still that most days, but I really struggled with the fear of the unknown. Like, I constantly felt like I didn't know what was going on. I was waiting for appointments, I was waiting for results, I was waiting for diagnoses, I was waiting for surgery. And I had a lot of health anxiety, and I think I still have that now. Like, if I feel a twinge or something hurt, I get really worried, and I'm never quite 100% well, if that makes sense. Like, not that there's been complications since surgery, but things have taken longer to heal, and now I worry constantly about there being something wrong, if that makes sense. So it has definitely affected my mental health. I get a lot more anxious about my health now, and I worry a lot more than I used to. And there were some days where the pain would be so bad that I would be really down and affected. I also feel like I'm a lot like, how do I explain it? I can go from like 0 to 100 in terms of my mood. So I can be completely fine, and then I reckon something's like niggling me in the back of my head, and then I'll just snap and be really angry. And I think that's just out of, again, fear. Like, I worry a lot. So I would definitely say it's affected my mental health. There's always something in there, something like deep down that I worry about, and I feel like because it went on for so long that I'm constantly like waiting for bad news. So 100% it's affected my mental health, and I don't ever know if that will ever go away. Next question was, does your diet affect your PCOS and endometriosis? Personally, yes. If you follow me on here and on Instagram, you'll know that I try to eat mainly dairy-free, gluten-free. Obviously, when I go out for meals, things like that, then, you know, I'm not that precious over it because I don't eat out very often. But when I'm at home, I definitely try and eat gluten-free, dairy-free. I find that when I eat those things, and also if I have too much sugar, I get a flare up in pain. So I definitely try to eat a whole food diet and try and eliminate those things as much as I can. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and you know, sometimes I'll eat a chocolate bar, sometimes there'll be a bit of dairy in something, but the majority of time that's what I try to stick to. There's been studies that have shown that dairy actually increases testosterone, which is why I try not to eat dairy. And because I've got a problem with my bowel and colon from the endometriosis and surgery, wheats, gluten can be really inflammatory in the body. And I do notice the next day that I've got some stomach issues. So yeah, unfortunately, I do try to make sure that my foods are mainly whole foods, and I try to eliminate as much dairy, wheat, sugar, processed food as I can. But you know, we're not always perfect. And if you're someone like me where your PCOS is insulin driven, then I would really look at the amount of carbs that you eat and also the amount of sugar that you eat to try and support your liver, insulin, etc. The next two questions were actually related to me trying to conceive. So the first question says, have you struggled? And in a nutshell, yes. We tried to start conceiving in May 2020. That's when I came off the pill, and obviously my PCOS symptoms and my endometriosis symptoms were at their worst, and it took me a long time to get diagnosed and to get some help. So at that time it just wasn't conducive. I didn't get surgery until November 2021, and then I thought that I would be completely healed, but as I said, it's taken me a long time to get healed. I'm getting a 35-day cycle, I'm ovulating, so from a PCOS perspective, no, things are going well in that space. But in terms of my endometriosis, things are still not quite right. I'm still seeing a pelvic physio to help with that as well, and I think it might just take a little bit of time, but I've come to accept it. So if we hit May 2022 and I'm not pregnant, then it would have been us really 2 years since trying to have a baby, and it's not been successful. So have I struggled to conceive? Yes, but instead we've settled with a fur baby for now, and she is the best. But hopefully this year we will be blessed with a baby. So last question, I probably got asked this the most, was, are you trying to conceive? 100%. You've seen me do my ovulation videos, so yes, we are trying to conceive, and I guess you've just got to try and enjoy the process, because the outcome isn't always positive. But as I say, we're really hopeful that this year will be the year for us. I am probably like 85% healed now, which is great, and as I say, I'm ovulating, so I am feeling really positive about this year and that it will bring us a baby at some point. Even if I get pregnant in December 2022, that is fine. But yes, we are trying to conceive, and if we do get pregnant and it's good news, as soon as we know that the baby is well and healthy, I will be sure to come on here and share it with you guys, because you guys have been here throughout all the struggles. So yeah, I cannot wait for the day that I'm able to turn on the camera and tell you guys that I'm pregnant, because that would be so amazing. But yeah, we are trying to conceive. I am sort of getting there with healing, and things are starting to look a lot more positive. So yeah, that is all the questions that I received. I hope you found them useful. If there's any more questions you would like answering that I haven't touched on today, then please just leave them in the comments below. But otherwise, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I promise I'm back. I will be doing more regular uploads, and I'll see you hopefully for a more put together video next time.